So I wanted to actually talk about this a little while ago, before my fiasco with the training facility. If you guys knew exactly how loyal and committed I was to professional wrestling, you would probably hate me and just find me the most insufferable person on the planet. Because like if I can't depict my idea of thought from like if I was told that I can never wrestle again, I don't know how I would actually function because for like the past decade, my entire perspective was be a wrestler, be a wrestler, be a wrestler, be a wrestler. So it's like if I was like told by like a doctor, hey, by the way, you can't use your legs, you can't run ropes anymore, that would absolutely kill me. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that when we get to it. And I do need to kind of work on that. I wanted to. So I don't know what it is, man. There's this whole there was this random guy who was in my comment section, and he was just like on the outside looking in. Yo, man, talk about Diddy, and I don't want to talk about Diddy because I don't like pop culture. I don't care that much about pop culture. The big reason why I don't like it feels like a completely different realm from where I exist. Like if it doesn't like the worst thing that could happen in pop culture will not affect me. Whereas one of the big reasons why I talk about like politics and social stuff is because of the fact that these are things that I encounter pretty often in comparison to pop culture things. The only way I'm going to talk about pop culture stuff is if I'm personally involved in it, and it's an exclusionary group. Like I'm not going to like I really doubt that pop culture is like knocking on my door and being like, "Hey, would you like to walk down the red carpet?" It's like, it's like that's not going to ever happen. Would you like to be friends with a rich person? You know what I mean? And that's not going to happen, right? So, because once, but it's like I do feel like we kind of do. I do feel like that there is a bigger conversation to have about Diddy and just people in Diddy's like social class, so to speak, because of the fact that it's like going like if you really think about it, like like I've always said this. I'm like I would never be surprised if a rich person is doing anything monstrous or evil or sociopathic or whatever, because I'm convinced that like financial freedom in America is depicted like once you have a certain amount of money in America, you could just do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're rich, they just let you do it. You know what I'm saying? So like you will never hear me be surprised or shocked about rich people doing anything terrible because like I believe that rich people are terrible people. If you know me personally, you know that I already like you know that I don't really have a high respect for like millionaires and billionaires. Like once you become a millionaire or a billionaire, I have like very little respect for you. I don't think you worked hard to get to where you are. I think that you're successful because of luck or because somebody liked you enough to put you in a higher position of life than you already were. I don't think like, and I'm not. The thing is, I'm not saying this about every millionaire because I'm aware that there are people who did in fact work for what they did. But it's like if you are a millionaire or a billionaire, and I don't know what you did to get that money, I don't respect you. Like Michael Jordan, right? He before he was this entrepreneur or whatever, he was a basketball player and quite possibly, and one would argue one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre, before he became this billionaire, he was a rapper. He was a music producer who started selling his own product. Beyonce, same thing. She's a singer. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, like these are people who actually did something for their money. But then there's these folks as like hedge fund investors, right? Like what does that even mean? You're rich because you already had money. You know what I'm saying? Or like it's like I don't know, like what does Elon Musk do for work, right? Like if I'm the richest dude in the world, I'm not selling anything. I'm the richest dude in the world. I have all the money. You know what I mean? I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving stuff away if I'm the richest dude in the world. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really respect that class of people. Um, And the big reason why, but it's like I'm always, but whenever I bring up how I don't respect those people, I'm always sort of responded to with, "Oh, you're just jealous. You're just a big baby. You know, you just jealous because like they're better than you and they worked harder than you." I do not believe that rich people work hard at all. I don't believe most rich people work hard. Once again, like I don't believe that Elon Musk works hard. I don't believe that Donald Trump works hard. I believe, like I say, if I don't know how you made your money, I don't think you worked hard for your money. I think you just benefited off of this. Like a while back when I was a kid, I remember there was this random thing that happened on. There was this. I think it was Joan Rivers. There was this thing. It was called "How Did You Get So Rich?" And it was Joan Rivers, and she was talking to these rich people who was living this life of luxury. And at the end of the segment, she would ask, how would you get so rich? And one dude in particular, and this always sticks out to me, he hesitated and then said, hard work. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember, like, that was the moment I realized these people don't work hard. Because, like, we know that you said hard work. Like, I'm supposed to know what that means. What did you work hard doing, buddy? And that was like the bell just went off. Like, these people don't work hard. But there is this level of like simping in there is this level of rich simping in the poor community that I do feel like I kind of want to talk about a little bit because it feels, it feels prevalent, it feels right, especially considering the Luigi Mancioni, class consciousness assignment that he depicted. And my whole thing is that like there is like I growing up poor and black in the hood, you know what I'm saying? You're basically taught that at some point in your life, like there's more to life than what you're experiencing. And that more to life is actually a little bit better, or different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I remember growing up, like I still believe that people who have stairs in their home are rich because growing up, you growing up, you were taught that big houses means a lot of money. So that so it's like if you have a pool and stairs in your home, I immediately think that you're rich because nobody I knew has ever had that before. I've never known anybody to have stairs in their home and a pool. You know what I mean? So that was always kind of like that's kind of like one of the things that I picked up on. Like if I ever were to get my own home, I would definitely get like three things. One, stairs. Two, a pool. And three, a pretty big yard for a wrestling ring. Rest in peace, Cam. But the whole idea is that like I was always sort of like depicting on these ideas of what being rich is, and you're taught that being rich is like a form of freedom. It's a form of like you're taught that it's different from what you're taught that the life that you live is not that great, and the only way you can improve is unless you have more money, and that stressed me out because it was like okay because growing up you're taught okay so all I have to do is work a job, earn the money, get the better life, right? That's the whole idea. And then you're told no, actually you got to work a job and go to college and do all these other things. So it's like okay, I go to college, work hard, do all this other stuff, and then it's like every single time you think that you did something, there's always something that you forgot to do that you have to go back and do in order to do these things. And like it makes it very and it's like you're basically like taught that like the people who are telling you this stuff are like they're grifting. I do feel like there's a bit of a grifting, and I do feel like there's a bit of a grift in the rich community because like they're always talking about you got to be an entrepreneur with a college education, and you got to do all of these you have to do all of these exponentially challenging things on a regular basis in order to get to where they are, and they don't even do those things. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't like what college did Donald Trump graduate from? Right? Like I don't know if he did or didn't. That's a genuine question. But the whole thing is that like you're basically trained on this idea that these people are successful because of their hard work, and it's like and they'll tell you straight up, you worked hard. Like in order for you to have a better life, you got to be successful. Which means in order for you to be successful, you have to be rich. In order for you to be rich, you have to do all of these things that these rich people tell you to do. And you know, once again, growing up black, poor, and in the South, I really had in my head, okay, I gotta do what these guys tell me to do, and I'm going to become successful like them, and I'm going to have a better life, and I'm going to be happier. And I started looking at the stuff that they did, and a lot of their like one of the things that was really big back in the day that they used to talk about was, what was it called? It was like financial education. It was like some form of financial education. So it was like, learn about money, learn about finances, learn about this stuff. It was like, it's kind of hard to learn about this stuff when you it's kind of hard to learn about something that you don't really have that much of. It's like, like they was always say stuff like, learn about the stock market, learn about Bitcoin, learn about, how to do investments and stuff like that. And it's like, and then it's like you try to learn about it, and the first step is always put $1,000 into the stock market or some crap like that. And then you do that, and then you do that after years of working, and you put money into the stock market, and all you get back is like $1.57 a month. Stuff like that. It was just like it was like, I forgot what it was called. Financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? So this whole idea of, so you had like these rich people telling you, be an entrepreneur, do financial literacy, go to college, learn all these things, do all of these things. And then you find out that some of those things they didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, and like I said, it feels like a grift. It feels like a scam. And that was what kind of made me like start looking at rich people a little bit differently, because when you look at a lot of them look like they became successful based off luck, based off of based off of luck, and based off of like these perspectives. Like I say, I'm not taking anything away from the people who did work hard, but I'm not referring to those people, because it's just like what God said in the episode of Futurama. If you're doing something right, sometimes it's like you're not doing anything. So those are the people I'm not really addressing. I'm addressing like millionaires and billionaires who, like, I'm convinced that if money didn't exist, there would be some people who are rich who would just be absolutely useless. Like, I don't think that, like, if money didn't exist, I don't think that Warren Buffett would be as useful as he is. I don't think Elon Musk would be as useful as he is. I don't think that Donald Trump would be useful in any context if money didn't exist. So my whole concept is that, like, I stopped respecting these people. Like, I stopped respecting people based on their income when I realized that some jobs aren't even like jobs. Like, once again, what does the business CEO do? You know what I mean? Like, if once again you take away money, now the most important people are the people who can do things, who are the most helpful to the community. Like, what do business CEOs do? You know what I'm saying? Like, people say, "Oh, well, they create jobs." And yet, like, I mean, if that's the case, then everybody should be getting hired for any job that they get, right? I will, like, what if I told you that if I apply for a job, there's a chance that I wouldn't get that job? What job did that job create if I didn't get a job over there? And you'll be surprised how many people don't get the jobs that they want. So, rich people creating jobs doesn't really cut the mustard. It doesn't sound legitimate. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that is what frustrates me. Stuff like that is what annoys me a little bit about, like, the like rich simps. You know what I'm saying? That's this idea. Is like, there's this whole depiction of, I'm going to become successful one day because I'm doing what they say, and it's like, but you're not. But you're not successful already, and that should make you wonder things a little bit. There's this very common phrase that come around. It's like, you have more in common with a homeless person than you do with a billionaire. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to be like 3 bad months away from. You're always going to be like 3 bad months away from, like, becoming homeless, but you will never be 1 month away from being a billionaire. You could say all day, "I'm going to become rich one day," but it's like, if you were destined to become rich, why aren't you rich already? You don't work hard enough. Another thing that I don't respect about rich folks is that, like, once again, I don't think they could do my job. I don't think that they can work. Period. Once again, I don't like a big reason why I don't respect Elon Musk or Donald Trump or Warren Buffett or any of those guys is because I don't think that they could do my job. I don't think that they could work. I don't think that they could work at a retail store during Black Friday on overtime hours. So we're talking like maybe 10, we're talking about like maybe 8, 9, 10 hours during Black Friday at a retail store, surrounded by all of these people trying to help everybody out, trying to fix everything, trying to clean everything up after everybody just completely knocked the same shirt down again on this rack. I just put this shirt up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things. Like I don't think that rich people could do that. I don't think that rich folks in general could do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I could BS my way through a CEO position. I'm pretty sure I could like fake my way to being a businessman because every single businessman strategy is have you considered raising prices? Okay, I got an idea. Groundbreaking. You ready for this? How's about we raise the price and then make it seem like we didn't? That's all businessmen do, right? It's like just raise prices. You know what I mean? I mean that's why inflation is a thing. There's like I'm pretty sure I could BS my way to like being a businessman or being like, especially if it's like a job that's already making like $1 billion. There's nothing that you can do to a job that makes like $1 billion or something that will actually crumble it. You know what I mean? You could literally just do nothing and it will just work. To put this in perspective, if McDonald's actually started selling macaroni and cheese, it will still make a lot of money because people will eat that macaroni mac and cheese, that McDonald's mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? I could go. If I were to become CEO, I would just be like, y'all ever wonder why we don't have mac and cheese at McDonald's? It's called McDonald's. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. Like you can't fail at being a job that's not a job. It's a cushy position. Whereas you got people at the bottom level of these facilities who do the actual work. So, like I can't really depict somebody based on their income because I don't respect people who make a higher income because I don't think that they work hard. Like a very common phrase when I was growing up was I can't wait to be rich so I can never work again. Now you can't even get these people to admit that rich people don't work. Like I said, that's the reason why like I will like and also if you have that much freedom, like if you have like there is such thing as too much freedom because rich people depict that all the time by doing all the terrible stuff that they do. To put this in perspective, rich people not only do terrible stuff. I'm not gonna say all rich people, but most rich people do terrible stuff, and they have the privacy to be able to do it, and we just don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like they like there's all these like urban legends about rich people like going into like random parties and drinking blood and doing things to children and doing things to each other. Like the whole concept is that if these aren't the people that we supposed to be like, I really do feel like we're not supposed to be like worshiping these people. We're not supposed to be depicting these people as like these hyper competent visuals of society. And I think it's a little annoying that that's one of the things that people tend to that people my age group and older do. Like we don't need to idolize rich folk. They're just people who got lucky. They're people. A lot of them are people who got lucky, or people who look good enough to like get the money that they needed to be able to do things. Y'all ever notice how like the majority of like the rich people that they like that they play that they talk about are like sexy. You know what I mean? Like y'all ever notice that? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but then you look at Donald Trump, who's one of the richest people in America, and he's looks like melted ice cream. You look at Elon Musk, same thing. You look at Warren Buffett, same thing. But the whole idea is that but then there's this pop culture idea of what being rich is, and it's all these sexy people who get a chance to have these fun parties and go to all these things, and it's like no, it's actually just these old rich guys who are gross looking and weird and like once again, if money didn't exist, they would be the most useless people in our society. Um, but yeah, like I don't. But that's my whole thing is that like I don't respect rich folks. But they do have. I do kind of wish that that like the freedom to do nothing that they get to have, it would be like sort of like depicted for everybody. I do feel like everybody should just have a chance to just have a month where they could just do nothing. Like price be damned, right? Because everybody needs a break. And the only people who seem to get a break are the people who don't do any work, which are the rich folk, you know? But it's like I say, I just don't like this idea. And also like the rich folk who, by the way, scam you into buying their books and buying their courses on how to get rich that doesn't really go anywhere except into their pockets. Like we don't need like I really do like one of the good things that I can say about the upcoming orange invasion that's about to happen is that a lot of people who have deified rich folks for like a decade or so are about to learn in the worst way possible that rich people are just incompetent, lucky people who like you're about to learn exactly how incompetent billionaires and CEOs are. And it's like it's kind of weird that people didn't know this already because it's like people don't really pay attention to how businesses are ran. To put this in perspective, the people at the top level of the businesses are living cush and can literally do no wrong, right? Whereas the people at the bottom of the level, the people who actually do the work, they have to unionize just so they can like get basic things. And even then, the company fights back on those basic things. Hey, can we get chairs for cashiers? Can we get chairs for cashiers? Hey Walmart, can you hire more cashiers? You have all these cash registers, no cashiers. You know what I'm saying? People be like, America needs to be ran like a business. You know, the same people who think that way are the people who ignore how businesses are ran in the country already. Like people who be like, rich people work harder than poor people don't have any idea what work is. I was sooner like I'm currently like I said at this point right now, if a year into the orange invasion you still think that rich people are awesome, there is no hope. There is no hope for you. You should just go try to hang out with them. You know, I don't want to live in a world ran by. I don't want to live in a world ran by the idea of, oh, in order for me to succeed in life, I have to be liked by rich people, and I won't be because of how I look, or because of my skin color, or because of my gender, or because of like my political leanings or my perspective. I don't want to live in a world where like I'm successful just because somebody liked me. I want to become successful because I'm useful and I'm capable of doing something in a society that I am in. And what a lot of people don't understand is that like nepotism, that's already a thing here. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that I would be a great librarian, but I can't get hired at the library. I know for a fact that I would be a great professional wrestler, but like I'm still working towards trying to be a professional wrestler. It's like, but guess what? I can get a job. I can get a job at a grocery store or a retail store relatively easy for pennies because some rich person doesn't like those jobs. You see what I'm saying? I can't get a job at the stock market or at Wall Street because I need a college education in order to go there. You know what I'm saying? But all they do is play with money and partake in white dust parties. That's all they do. They just play with money and partake in white dust parties, and that job requires a college education to get. Meanwhile, and those guys make top dollar. Meanwhile, jobs that anybody should be able to get are low paying because rich folks don't like them. I'm just saying, like it's just I'm rambling right now, but that's what I'm saying. I don't respect rich people. I don't think that rich people are useful, and I think that billionaires and millionaires are most billionaires and millionaires. Well, most millionaires, but mostly billionaires. I think that they're useless. I think that they're useless. I really, like I said, if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a billionaire. I would like if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a billionaire. Like I'm gonna refer to my old video that explains what I would do if I had $1 billion. But yeah, free Luigi.